What's going on, people? Welcome to Throwdown, episode 244. I'm your host, Tony Polanco, and I'm joined by Emilio Lopez.
What's up, people? How's it going?
Chris Seeley.
Hey, what's up, everyone?
Carlos Romero.
What it do?
And Adam Vale.
What up, humans?
Master of the MAME, man.
Playing the games. Playing the games.
Yo, what game were you playing, man? Let the people know. What were you playing right before the show?
WWF WrestleFest.
Oh, shit.
That was a fun arcade game. That sucked up a lot of quarters because that was a button masher. And they never ported that over to any console. I think it was like 2012 or 13. WWE made a version. It was on the Xbox 360. I don't know if it came to PS3.
Oh shit!
But it was horrible. It was nothing like the arcade version. But yeah, this version never made it over, and it was awesome. It was fun. So the only way you can play it is if you have a MAME and get an emulator that works. And finally found an emulator that works for it.
Cool. All right, and Adam, Adam and I were talking just about this before we started about some news that happened. Because this week was dry as fuck. So Adam, I'm gonna throw it to you later on if we run out of shit.
All right.
Yeah, this week was kind of nutty. I'm just gonna run down what I got here. So the first one is that the Xbox One is gonna get a new UI, and they're removing Cortana, which is very interesting. And also
nobody uses this shit.
But to be honest, I'm looking at this dashboard. Nobody uses that shit. Wasn't like Cortana kind of replacing the Kinect in a way? With the voice commands and all that shit.
Well, they've realized that was the one feature everyone did use the Kinect for. Is for the voice command for Xbox record this, or was it record that, and do those type of things. So they were like, all right, well then this is it. Use Cortana, and then not only that, she'll search the web, and she was going to do all these other things. They had all these plans for it. It's supposed to be like Siri, but on your Xbox. If you want pizza, order pizza. If you have like the Pizza Hut app, remember there was an Pizza Hut app on there. It's like, oh yeah, you could say Cortana order some pizza, and if your information saved, she would order it. It just never materialized in that way, and no one used it. So.
Yeah. So according to this thing, they're testing out this new interface, and it kind of looks a little PS4-ish, which is interesting. But the main thing is they wanted to get snappier. If you use the Xbox interface, I've complained about this myself. That shit is slow as fuck. Like you press a button and there's that's real lag. It's like you press it and then 2 seconds later it'll react. So it's
hard to find things.
It really is, man. Yeah. It's bad, so that's cool. They're doing it. Go ahead.
Who designed that silly thing?
Microsoft.
Well, the person that designed it is gone. That was the thing. It was the same person that they were using that designed their Windows 8, which is why it still had the big tile interface. They tried to make it unified, so that way, if you know how to navigate on one, you could navigate on the other. That type of thing. It just didn't work out.
I mean, the funny thing is Sony had that thing where it was for the PlayStation 3, and they used that on everything. At least that thing, as silly as it was still easy to use.
I'm using it right now. That's the same interface on RetroArch.
Oh,
they
really?
Use the same PS3 interface with the menu systems and the drop downs and the listing. Yeah.
Well, you know why they keep using that shit? Because the PS4's user interface is just pretty much the XMB, or not the XMB, was it the XMB?
It was XMB. Yeah, you had it right. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's pretty much the XMB with another layer on top. So it's they don't really veer far away from sort of the simplistic nature of that interface. And Microsoft was the complete opposite. They're two extremes. It's PS4 is just doing the most simplistic thing, and Microsoft's doing some complicated shit that throws everyone off. So they need, man, both of them need to step up their UI games next gen. I don't know when this is gonna. I don't know if they announced when this is gonna go live. But I'm assuming it'll be there by
probably fall. Probably fall. That's when
so this year.
Yeah.
Probably, yeah. Because they're testing it now, so it's got to be this year. I'm assuming late fall at the latest, if not even the end of summer.
So they have to be testing this thing so they can know what'll work for the next gen.
Yeah, exactly. We talked about that before. because we were asked on throwing questions, what's your favorite UI? And I think most of us, not all of us, most of us just said we didn't like any UIs of any consoles. Most of them are shit, to be honest. Especially like the modern ones, old schools were different. They didn't have any. You just pop in a game and you play. But yeah, so yeah, it's gonna be a little bit snappier. It says instead of like twisting the home menu, you could just press a button. It'll just take you to wherever you need, which is good. You can just scroll through your games. Yeah,
I'll believe it when I see it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I've heard that before. They just bring back they should just bring back the old 360 with the blade.
Man. Yeah.
I don't know why don't do that. Everybody liked that one.
Why is it not even an option?
Yeah, they should have an option.
They got rid of the blades mid 360.
Oh, yeah.
But it was
Everyone was
great. It was a great interface.
Yep.
Yeah, so I don't know. They were like, "Oh, we're listening to the fans." Like, okay, if you're listening to the fans, bring back the 360 interface. That's what everybody wants.
Taking some time, isn't it?
What's up with that, man?
They're just ignoring me. They don't care about me.
Yeah. All right.
The emails though.
Yeah. Anything else you guys want to say about the Xbox UI?
Good riddance of bad rubbish.
There you go. All right. This next story is kind of interesting. We talked about this on Throw Your Questions as well about the whole Nintendo Joy-Con lawsuit. So Nintendo finally responded, and it says it's going to fix it for free. So Chris, I want your take on this.
Oh, it's amazing. Like
You put the asterisk. Put the asterisk. Remember, there's an asterisk.
The asterisk.
Oh well,
yeah.
I mean, this is an internal memo to the customer support saying that they should take in units out of warranty. I remember I said this when we spoke about this the first time. I said I guarantee people are having the drift issue past the warranty time for the Joy-Cons, and they're just going too bad, so sad. You got to buy a new one.
That still applies in the UK. They don't do it for free.
Yeah,
you have to pay.
So this is an issue, but this is not going to fix the lawsuit. This is like really too little, too late. Like this obviously came about because of the lawsuit, because it got so much attention. It was blown up on them. They're like, you know what? We're gonna now offer support, at least in the U.S., for free Joy-Con replacements, right? But that's not gonna stop what's coming. Like they have you dead to rights now. Like the lawyers, the law firm that put up this lawsuit is gonna go see they admit there's a problem.
That's true.
And now they're trying to fix it. So they actually hurt themselves in the case. If they were planning to build up a case to defend themselves, I don't see how you defend this.
Yeah, because like if they're fixing it for free, that's admitting you have a problem. You know?
And in the memo they wrote like, we need to address Joy-Con drift, exactly the words that's in the lawsuit. So it's like, well, there you go. It's an issue. You knew about it. You told people to buy new things, and there are guys in that lawsuit that said they bought pairs and pairs of Joy-Cons. That's fucking expensive.
Man.
And they all had the issue, right? They end up buying a Pro Controller, and then they can only play it docked.
So does that mean that being that most people have, a lot of people have bought the Wii U, the Switch, that they could also jump onto this thing if they wanted to?
Yeah, I mean
theoretically, you or Adam or Brett, anybody who owns a Switch can actually do this.
Well,
you just call them up. They said, and supposedly they no questions asked. They'll just replace it. You send it in and they'll replace it.
No, I'm saying part of the lawsuit.
Oh, the lawsuit.
I don't know what the criteria is. You probably had to have submitted a warranty request to Nintendo and had it rejected and have proof of that. And if you did, then submit it to the law firm, right? If you're one of these people who you have Joy-Con drift, you said, hey, maybe it happened 70 days. I don't know what the Joy-Con warranty is. It's either 60 or 90 days. So after that period, you submit to Nintendo, hey, this shit's broken. I don't really play that much that hard, and I got Joy-Con drift, and they go, too bad, you're past warranty. Then you take that to the law firm and be like, hey, I want to jump in on this. I say do it, man. If you've spent tons of money on Joy-Cons and you had that shit happen, then yeah, absolutely do it.
You know what's interesting? Because they actually recently stopped. What was it? I think they fixed all the old consoles so they have lifetime warranties on them. But for Switch, they actually stopped doing that, right?
I think so. I think everything is just based on the sale warranty. After that, you're SOL.
So it's interesting. Like the one moment where they should have kind of had something like that, they didn't.
No. And it'll be interesting. I'll watch the lawsuit play out. Like, I want to see what they have. But this, to me, like right now, you admit that this is an issue. Now you're gonna start fixing them for free, and you're gonna ignore the warranty, at least in certain regions. That means there's a problem, right? These guys are gonna pull that right into the case and go, see, they admit it.
Yeah. Here's something, and I want to give a quick shout out to my editor Jordan Miner over at Geek.com. He wrote an editorial asking a very interesting question. I want to get your guys' take on it. Is this the Switch's version of the Red Ring of Death?
No.
No, it's not like that.
Not at all. Because it doesn't kill the system.
Yeah,
right?
it doesn't kill the system. This is equivalent to what Xbox One had at launch. A lot of their controllers were getting adrift in the thumbstick. I know mine. I wound up getting a Titanfall collection. I had the headset, the controller, and my left stick started drifting. And I noticed when I went to play Destiny when that first came out, put my controller down, went to get something to drink. When I came back, my dude was like up in the air, like pointing. Like, what are you doing? I thought shit was possessed. And I picked it up and I looked. I cleaned it to see if there was anything inside, some gook, something. Nope. Looked up online. Sure enough, known issue drifting.
Man.
My one of my old PS3 controllers actually has that issue.
Oh, the drifting?
Yeah, or like essentially the character just keeps. Not only that, drifting. It also moves the XMB. It's almost like it's possessed.
My original PlayStation controller didn't even come with thumbsticks.
What?
They were missing?
Oh,
but don't.
Yeah, thank you.
That went right over my head.
The original PlayStation did.
The PS1 didn't have.
That is true. Yeah, I thought you were talking about PS3. I'm like, PS3 did come on. What are you talking about? I forgot which was. It was a PS system I had, and it had the same issue. I forgot which one it was. It probably was PS3. Where
it was PS3, dude.
Yeah. Yeah, man, some bullshit. But yeah, Chris is right. Like, yo, if you experience this, go for it. See if you get some money. Especially if you bought like a bunch of Joy-Cons. Those things were not cheap. No,
not cheap.
What are they like? 40, 50 bucks?
But the downfall.
I'll check right now.
If you read online, and according to these people, and they said they had proof, they were showing screenshots that there was people that did the replacement, and they said even the replacement didn't work.
Damn.
Yes.
What? Yeah. So they were like, "Oh, I did the replacement." They were like, "Oh, I paid the money, I got mine," and within like a month, the same shit happened.
Well, here's the problem. Like,
by the way, Joy-Cons are Joy-Cons are $70.
$70, right? So people are dishing out like this guy said he bought 8 pairs. So what is
what?
Like you spent almost $300
rolling in the dough.
Yeah, and then after that, he bought a Pro controller. Like he should have just bought it after the first fucking pair, but but he wanted to play it portable. Like that was the whole thing. He just wanted to use the Joy-Cons, and he ended up buying. So the problem is the defective sensor in there that's causing the drift. If you send somebody a refurb unit, and even if you recalibrate it, it's still defective. It's going to happen again. They need to replace the sensor, not just like fix it, just not get a new one because it's obviously defective. So all these refurbs that are going out to people, they're going to get drift again.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, one of my buddies from work, he was telling me that he's like, "Yo, are you gonna join the Smash tournament?" And I'm like, "Smash tournament?" I'm like, "What the fuck? All these fucking nerds in the word, man." And they're like, "Yeah, like they're playing Smash on Fridays and shit." And I'm like, "Okay, now I'm not gonna join." But it's like, "Are you gonna join?" He's like, "I want to." He's like, "Can I borrow your Joy-Cons?" And I'm like, "What?" Yeah, it's because we have to bring our own Joy-Cons. I'm like, "Why don't you bring yours?" It's like, "Oh, well, mine's fucked up, and the thumbstick is like moves by itself."
Well, either way, he should be using a Pro controller. If you're gonna start doing some competition, that's just not comfortable. That's not a proper D-pad. And
well, he said he's gonna buy a Pro controller, but he said in the meantime, he's just not gonna play a Switch until.
Yo, man, go to the store, man.
Yeah, so I'm like, nah, I'm not gonna.
Get you a Pro controller.
I'm not gonna let you my Joy-Cons, even though I don't use them.
Like, no, that's mine.
Yeah, I don't want you to fuck mine up.
Don't you soil my Joy-Con.
You got cooties, man. You gonna break my shit.
Joy-Con. Oh man, Nintendo, man, some crazy shit. I'm still surprised they even acknowledge this shit. You know how they are.
Right.
Well,
But-
yeah, because it's become a problem. But yeah,
What?
Chris is totally right. They should have not did it now.
Yeah, they had an opportunity to take care of this when people are coming in, when they were getting Joy-Con sent back to them, people trying to use their warranty and whatever. That was the time to address it, but they didn't. In their typical fashion, they ignored it until a law firm slapped them with a class action lawsuit. Then they go, "Oh, gee, now we have to address this."
Jeez, man.
Address these nuts.
It's funny. It's funny if you think about it. It's a very toy company sort of way of dealing with things.
Well, that's what
Yeah,
Nintendo
yeah.
is, man.
Oh, they need to get out of that shit.
And they still do that. They still think like a toy.
Which is
company.
funny because almost everybody from that old gen is gone. What the fuck? They all reading the same old ass manual? Like, read that, follow this shit.
You know,
Really?
Yeah. Well, Chris, you said that a bunch of times. Like Nintendo still operates like they're a toy company. You know.
Yeah, very much so.
They
Very
still
much
make
so.
playing cards over there in Japan, I heard.
They still have Miyamoto, but now he's just pretending to make games.
Oh shit.
No, he's not pretending to make games. You know what they have him doing? They have him handling licensee stuff like Universal. That's what they got him doing.
Yeah, they gave him the window seat. You know.
Yeah.
That shit is crazy. All right, moving on. All right, Adam, this one's for you.
Oh shit.
So gambling laws block GTA Online update in 50 countries.
Shit.
You know, so
Man.
Thanks, EA.
EA, man.
Oh,
But the thing is that it's not really gambling with money though.
No, it can take your money. That's the whole point. It can take your money. There are slot machines that are in that gambling area, and not only do you get in-game coin, but you could also get other items like clothing and other things. So you can win other things. So in a sense, those machines are like mini loot boxes.
Yeah,
So
yeah, go ahead, Adam.
man, you know, they must have known. Like, I just don't understand why they did this. I mean, there was no need for this casino to come out. They're not dumb. They know that this was going to cause a backlash, especially now with the title of gambling and all the stuff going around, controversy around gambling. And you're going to introduce, hey, we got a casino in our game. No, you know, whether it has real gambling or not, it still has the title. You know, and it's still going to draw that attention. And maybe they're trying to stick to the old tradition of GTA being very controversial, doing something crazy. And they're like, you know what? We haven't been in the news that long, you know, lately. Yeah. So let's get back into the big headlines again. Let's do something stupid. But I mean, we were playing it. Chris and I have been playing it. We've been doing the missions parts. We haven't really been gambling. No one's hanging out there gambling.
But also it's an immature game, so it should be fine though.
Yeah, but here's the thing though, you know, because remember after the whole thing with EA, right? A bunch of countries passed like laws about gambling game. The thing is, okay, in the game itself, you could like have in-game money to gamble with, but you buy that with real money. So that's where the gambling comes from. Understand?
Yeah, and so they're against gambling altogether. It has nothing to do with kids or anything. They just don't want gambling.
Yeah.
Just like how some states, like New York and stuff, you know, you can't gamble. You had to go up to Connecticut and stuff like that.
Jersey.
Gamble. Yeah, Jersey. So I just can't believe they would do something.
Indian reservation.
Yeah.
I was about to say, like over here, like it's banned in Texas, but I can go to a reservation and gamble.
Right.
Yeah. And so I just don't understand why. It's not like they were hard up for money. You know, they know what they're doing. They knew this was going to cause controversy. And look, now it's banned. Now you got customers pissed off because there's gamers that want to play and they can't play. They're trying to, you know, do a reverse with their VPN and spoof their IPs, trying to get in. It's like it's not worth it. It's not worth it. I don't get why they felt the need to release something like this, especially in GTA 5 so late in a cycle. We're like over 5 years.
Yeah, but it's still an NPD, man.
Exactly. Fine. It doesn't need it. That's what I'm saying. It doesn't need this DLC. It was still there. It's still making money. It's
but
going along.
You know how it is, man. When you get a lot of money, you need more money. That's just how it works.
They should have. They should have called it something else. They could have called it an amusement park. You know, or something like that, and then just like hid some games in that.
The hidden mechanics.
Like it's so free.
The
Like
surprise mechanics part.
yeah,
Surprise
like when Chris and I
mechanics.
were playing, and we're still having the same issues like in all the other GTA modes. It's like here it is, we leave the casino to go do a mission, and when we try to get back, there's some morons on the rooftop shooting at us with rocket launchers and shit and blowing us up, and cops are all over the place. So when we approach, it looks like there's an all-out war. I was like, we're just trying to get in so we can activate the missions.
Yeah, but you know how it is in GTA, man. It's
No,
all
exactly.
crazy.
That's what I'm saying. It's like, all right, but it's the same old shit. But when it comes to doing the gambling, I don't see the big deal. Let me see. I did one or two of the slot machines. I was like, all right, this is boring. I did the horse race. Didn't find much in that. So the big thing for me, whenever I go to play now, I'm going to spin the wheel of fortune there that they have. Because every day you win something.
Wheel
of misfortune, and then hopefully you can get the car, you get some money, whatever, and some other items, and then that's it. And then do a mission and head out.
Wasn't there gambling in the original Grand Theft Auto? Grand Theft Auto 3 and the previous ones.
I mean, you can play some card games and stuff, but you can put real money in.
Yeah, you couldn't put real money. Yeah, that's the difference.
And it just shows how certain things just stick out, especially like with Grand Theft Auto, and again with the gambling of the casino. Because when Red Dead Online went live, you can play Texas Hold'em and stuff on there, and you could gamble.
Yeah, sure.
So
you're just not using real money.
You could always use real money. You have to use real money to play for fake money.
Yeah, that's how it works, pretty much. Mm-hmm. Which is crazy. One thing I find
you can earn it in the game, but if you don't want to earn it, if you want to just hang out in the casino or in the saloon and stuff, you have to get some kind of currency. So you get shark cards, and the shark cards you can use them on anything, right? That's their workaround. Hey, this is not just for gambling. You can go buy materials or whatever you want. It just so happens people want to use it to, gamble, get chips.
Yeah, you know what they're trying to do? They're trying to fish for the whales.
Yeah.
Those guys will spend all that money.
I mean, Rockstar doesn't hide it. The highest level shark card you can buy is called the whale card.
Oh shit!
It literally is. Like, look at how they labeled them. Like, there's sharks and great white shark, whatever. The highest one, the $100 card is a whale card.
Well, how about when you get their emails? It says propaganda. Yeah. That's it. It's like, it's a propaganda message from Rockstar. Oh, okay.
At least they're upfront about it. EA with their surprise mechanic bullshit. Rockstar's like, yeah, it's gambling.
Yeah.
Fuck,
like, listen, we ain't hiding nothing, all right? You know what we're doing.
Well, at least at least you know what it is, instead of them kind of going a goofy workaround.
Surprise mechanic.
What I find interesting is, I guess because it is Rockstar, it's like, because no one's complained about this. You haven't heard any complaints,
Yeah, no.
Because you know exactly what it is. It tells you it's a casino, and it tells you you're going to be gambling. Mm-hmm. As opposed to just like, just again, like, the EA stuff where it's like,
being sneaky,
like, here's the loot box. You mean,
exactly.
You mean a slot machine?
And so if you see, that's the other thing. Like, if it's real up front, and if you take it for what it is, it's like, but it's gambling. Yeah, it's a casino. It's like, that's it. Do you want to go gamble? No, I don't want that. Then don't go to the casino. It's like, I guess so. But, but then the worst I'm seeing news reports are like, but it's popular with teens. That's not their problem. That's parents that are letting their teens buy. It doesn't matter if they're popular. Guns are popular. All kinds of things are popular with them teens. It doesn't mean they're allowed to do it. Alcohol is popular with teens. They shouldn't be doing it. So it's the same thing. It's like you can't shut them down for that. It's out of their control at that point.
Yeah, but just the fact that it has gambling in it, that's all these countries care about. It's not really about the rating at this point. It's just the fact.
I think it was just poor timing. But we've played. Chris and I played it. They put work into that. There's a lot of work, a lot of detail in that.
Yeah.
And this isn't like some half-ass. We had some old textures and we put some stuff. We sprinkle things in there, and there we go. No, this feels like, wow, this is a legit expansion. So. This must have been something that were in the works. Well, shit.
Because you said bad timing, right? When would have been good timing?
Good timing is when no one was talking about all the fucking loot boxes and giving a shit about money and wasting money in it.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
before Battlefront 2.
Okay,
Before-
yeah, because
exactly,
I'm like, you
before
can't, like,
Battlefront.
there's no good time afterwards.
which could have been which could have been a year or two ago. Who knows how long they had this cooked up? Because according to people online, this was something that they had rumored years ago. They're like, "Oh, Rockstar hinted at this years ago. We thought they were joking." I was like, "Oh well, they could have released it a long time ago. Then I don't know, or maybe this is something that they discussed and were still thinking about every time they had a board meeting of new content. Well, we got that casino. No. Too soon. There's too many
soon.
issues. Too many. And then next, I'm like, we still have that casino. It's like, fuck, sorry, spit it out.
Yeah, or maybe they didn't have anything ready. It's like, all right, you got that shit ready? Let's go.
But then again, no one was asking for new shit. That's the other thing. No one's asking. Everyone's happy with everything. I mean, we still haven't even played the Destruction Derby. I don't know anybody that's played it. And I know a lot of people that were big into GTA, and they still do the same fucking crazy, wacky races up in the clouds.
It's interesting. By the way, what's up, Brett?
And clubs. I didn't play clubs. Nightclubs and stuff.
Oh, I did a nightclub experience.
Yo, Brett.
What's up?
Hey, there you are. How you doing, man?
Oh, busy.
Oh,
Tired.
yeah. I can imagine, you know. We haven't heard from you in a while, man. How's the new house and everything?
New house is going well. Unpacking, just getting back to life. Trying to launch a business.
Nice.
That's always fun. Dealing with all of that stress. Won't get into a lot of that, but basically, it's been a month of anxiety and hopefulness and stress in repeated 20-minute rapid fire cycles. So it's been fucking great.
Concentrated though.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot bad's going on. There's a lot good's going on. So it's things moving. I'm looking forward to August when everything should hopefully slow down a little bit.
Nice. Actually, yeah. Well, what's your take on this whole casino thing they got going on in GTA? Do you know about it? Have you been keeping up?
I honestly have not been keeping up. So somebody praise me and get my first impressions.
They have this new update casino, basically like a building you go into and it's a casino, you gamble and stuff. You use in-game currency, but you could buy that in-game currency with real money. You know how that shit goes. Here's the funny thing. Most people, here, I haven't really heard any complaints, but the thing we're focusing on is that the game, or at least that update has been banned in over 50 countries because of the gambling.
I mean, okay, so I have mixed feelings on this. I forget the name. One of you guys will probably be able to remind me. Back in the day, there was a Sega Genesis game that I absolutely loved. It was like Casino Royale or something like that. Caesar's Palace, something like that. And it was just honestly a casino simulator. Like you played a guy and you walked around the casino and you went to different tables and played different games. Ran out of money, had to go to the ATM. Like you won out or bust out. Like it was a cool, fun game. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I think the fact, but could you put real money into it? I think that's
no. And see, there is the problem. Like the fact that like when you can put real money into it, and the thing that confuses me is, obviously this crosses the line. Most of the time, people get really upset, like with Red Dead, like there's poker in this game. Okay, well, so poker is a game. It's not inherently evil. You're getting caught up on the idea of the gambling side, which is actually just betting money on the outcome of what is usually a game of chance or skill. That's what betting is. So the evil isn't in the game, it's in the betting. So when you take the betting away from the game, it's just a game. But that also means adversely, when you add betting to any game, that makes it gambling. And that, I think, is that's the bottom line that I think companies and countries and people and everybody should keep in mind. Because they listen, like, some of this loot box shit comes very close to gambling. Just because you don't know what your return is going to be. If it's not, if it's not sellable in real money, then it's not gambling. And I know that's the line that a lot of like arcades use and everything like that. Like, you can win a Nintendo's Switch for $20 if you play this game right. But so I guess the long and short of it is, I have no problem with the games of gambling, but I do have a problem with being able to or being encouraged to invest real money. And that's not just for me. Let's be honest. I'll be honest here. We all live in the real world. We all know the way the real world works. We all know why mobile games are a thing. We all know why Clash of Clans exists. It's not because everybody's running and playing Clash of Clans. It's because there's like 9 guys out there who keep spending a ludicrous amount of money on it. The mobile people will tell you themselves, it's the whales, right? They're fishing for those whales. This is the same behavior. The only way you're getting, this is not a real profitability structure. What you're doing for is you're going for those whales. And my problem comes in anytime you are quote unquote chasing a whale. What I hear and what I see is there's somebody with some sort of mental issue, and that's probably the harsher way to put it. Some sort of behavioral issue, some sort of thing that keys into them that's probably usually compulsive, and that causes them to, for some reason or another, dump their money into this thing over and over and over and over and over again. And I have not seen an example where the whale on the other end of this deal is the better for it. They are always being exploited. So the problem then becomes, by transitory law, you have a company who's intentionally setting out to find the most exploitable person and exploit them for everything that they're worth, regardless of the consequence. And there is really, there's no way to spell that out other than that's kind of fucked up and evil. So when you get to those situations as kind of this, like, let's be honest, that's exactly what GTA is doing. GTA has always fished for the whales. And for the longest time, it was, we're holding this premium content above your head so that you can get it or you can spend money on it. This changes the dynamics, and it changes it in effect to those certain subgroup of people that we're talking about. And a lot of them are kids, teenagers. Your brain develops well into your 20s. To say that these are formative years would not be a lie. So you're teaching abusive, toxic, compulsory behavior to people whose brains are still forming for profit. When I break it down like that, can anybody really tell me whether any reason, and I doubt any of you disagree with me, but is there any way that you could see this not as a completely piece of shit, evil human thing to do? The person who implemented this idea, they're a piece of shit. That's like an objective fact, right?
I'm not gonna go that far.
No,
I'm
not
gonna go that far. I wouldn't go that far.
Because here's the thing, like I there is no magic as to what this is. They're saying what it is. It is a casino. It is gambling. So the ones I have a problem with are the ones that try to pull a fast one and try to give you some sort of reconfigured version of whatever it is supposed to be.
Yeah, like even we like Adam said, like even the shark cards, the most expensive one is literally called the whale shark. They know exactly what they're doing. They're not hiding it,
Yeah, so it's not hidden behind anything. And I feel like the thing about it is, even though we all know that children are probably playing these games, they shouldn't be playing this game, especially when it comes to for mature games and stuff like that. So at the one end, I'm like, because it's not hiding it behind any sort of additional sorts of things, I think it's, it sort of works. But then there's the other portion of it because of the addictive nature of gambling in general,
Yeah. Oh, also, I wanted to make a correction.
Yeah.
It's the second highest level shark card is the whale shark card, and the highest one is the megalodon.
Oh,
but
okay.
there is a whale shark card.
Yeah, they know what they're doing. Yeah, they know what they're doing.
Yeah, but the funny thing, like, they know what they're doing and they're making fun of it. But do a lot of other people? Does your average casual consumer, like, tell me this? Like, if you see somebody who has spent $500, $600 in GTA 5, would you consider that them just really enjoying the game and making quality, worthwhile purchases, or would you suggest that it feels like Rockstar kind of ground them out of a little bit of money? don't know about you guys, but I don't think any game.
I don't know. If they spend it willingly, I can't get mad about that.
Yeah,
you know?
how much was it for that nuke? Remember that nuke that they were sending out? It's like, wasn't that like $500?
Oh,
just
the orbital cannon.
Yeah, wasn't it some
fire
ridiculous?
it? It's like $500K or two. It's expensive to fire it.
Yeah, it was like 50 real world bucks.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't. I really can't like begrudge somebody using, spending their money how they want to. Yeah, because it's their money. It's not my money.
Yeah.
No, but
I'm not going to tell somebody how to live.
Okay, so like the person who's selling, by that logic, heroin to a heroin addict.
This is a video game, Brett. You're going to a really extreme right now.
An addiction
dude.
is an addiction. An addiction is an addiction.
Yeah, come on, dude. Heroin, really? Come on, man. Bring it down a little bit.
No, full stop. Look, okay, I deal with people in my industry all the time who are self-harmers. Did you know that self-harm is really just an addiction to your body's own endorphins?
Okay.
And that you get kind of carrot and sticked along the way where these unfortunate individuals come to find out that an endorphin release happens, they feel better. Something hurts them, an endorphin release, they feels better. Small baby steps of cause and effect lead to a place where these people are jamming glass shards into their arms and drawing blood just to feel something. The human brain can get away from you. And, at a certain time and point in life, that's acceptable. We have all reached a society where we've done the research. This isn't an accident. This is completely intentional. And the end goal isn't to get you to spend, an extra $50 on a game. It's to squeeze every fucking penny out of you that they can. Like the action itself is malicious, in my opinion.
Yeah. All right. I can't really go along with that, but it's your opinion,
Well, okay. So by your standard, though, if it's my money and I give it to somebody, you don't believe in the idea of taking advantage of somebody then.
I mean, you can, but if you're doing it willingly, I can't really feel bad for you. That's what I'm trying to get at.
Taking advantage is literally willingly walking into an action that is bad for you. I mean, that's kind of the definition of it, isn't it?
I don't know, man. I can't really judge people like that. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't feel right doing that. It's like, listen, people have their own lives to live. I'm not like so high and mighty that I could judge them like that. That's how I feel about it.
But there are snake oil salesmen out there.
Oh no, there are, and it sucks that happens. Like again, because it's one of the things. Like I understand like the moral wrongness of it all, but at the same time, I really believe in capitalism. So like you got to make your money. So I'm like, But at the end of the day, it's all down to individual choices. If you can't control yourself, I'm not gonna. I can't really do anything. I've known plenty of people that just literally kill themselves.
You can't do anything, but you don't have to make money off of the back of that. That's the difference.
Yeah,
like you can sit there and be like, oh man, that's unfortunate. I mean, I can't really help him. But then if somebody goes, oh, I bet you I can make money off of this motherfucker, like that person's the asshole, not you.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I can't really judge that type of shit. That's just the way I am. Yeah, but it is interesting how no one's really complaining about this, even though with Star Wars, everybody went fucking crazy. Well,
I mean, it's pretty up in the air.
Because it was hidden. They didn't say. They just renamed the idea.
Oh yeah, that is true. Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Yeah.
They hidden. What do they call it? What was their
surprise mechanics?
Surprise mechanics.
Yeah.
See that now. To be honest, I feel like that's worse.
That's worse. Yeah.
They're playing. They're trying because they know what the word sounds. The actual word sounds like. So they made up a fake word. Or a fake term to refer to their thing. That is to me it's worse. To be honest, I understand. There's definitely people that are addicted to gambling. That's why they have gambling. People that go to different things to get over their addiction of gambling, and I understand that it is a legitimate problem. But at the same time, I mean, you could also say the same thing about cigarettes and all kinds of other things that the people are addicted to too.
You could, but casinos actively watch out. Like I've seen casinos stop people from gambling. They'd be like, "Nah, man, you've got a problem. You need to stop."
Well, yeah,
You've never seen that?
I've never seen that.
Yeah, what kind of casino was that? They want to run out of business.
You know what? We don't want to take your money. Can you go home?
Go home now.
Come back on Thursday when you're sober up.
Dude, you come in. At least some of the casinos I've been like, you come in, you drop and lose $5,000 an hour, and you're like, I'm gonna win it back. You go run back to the craps table. Somebody's gonna stop you, be like, hey man, you need to cool your jets.
Somebody that works there is going to stop you?
Yeah, dude.
What?
Entire
man,
casinos.
what's
What kind
casino?
of casinos are these, man?
Dude, they're full of posters that say like know when to stop. Check your signs for gambling addiction. Like it's they take at least some steps to address it.
I'll take your. I've never been to a casino. So I'm going to take your word for it, but that's interesting because I'm like,
So
isn't that
how
counter what your whole like organization's trying to do? It's kind of weird.
No, because it's on brand, right? You know one thing, your brand isn't a place where people come and get the money wrung out of and wash out. Your brand is somewhere where you come, you have fun, you feel like you're in Vegas for a little while. You may leave $50 down, but you had a great time, didn't you? That's they're an entertainment model.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That's how it's supposed to work. And when they have people, losing the mortgage to their house, that looks really bad on them. That makes it look like they're taking advantage of poor Joe Schmo over here. So they're gonna try and nip that in the bud. They don't.
What if Grand Theft Auto has that too? What if they have a bunch of
you spent $5,000 on
Yeah.
shark cards, son.
No. What if they're like, check for gambling addiction, like all those same posters that a real casino would have.
That would be funny.
Yeah, they don't have any of those posters. We seen them. We didn't see any posters. We also didn't see any clocks either.
Oh,
Ah,
shit.
no,
No windows. Yeah,
no window.
Time of day or
That's how they get you, man. All right, cool. All right, let's move on. Unless you guys have anything else you want to say about this subject.
I
Go
just
ahead,
want to
Brett.
say those casinos are not Vegas casinos. Vegas casinos, they pump oxygen to keep you up, and they don't give a shit about.
Oh, I was just gonna ask you about Vegas. I'm like, they don't do that there.
Yeah.
Oh God, no! Vegas has the reputation of draining you of all your money and sending you the fuck home with your pockets turned inside out.
Yeah, see,
They
Brett,
don't
that's what I'm
care.
thinking about. That's what I'm thinking about.
No,
those type
they
of
don't care.
casinos.
It's your local casinos that are the ones that are.
Yeah, that makes sense. You don't want to fuck.
I mean,
yeah, that makes sense.
I've heard stories like there was a guy telling this story one time about his buddy in Vegas, and he had dropped like 50, 60 grand. Like he was just playing like high stakes roulette and high stakes all this stuff. And so the floor boss sent a woman over to his buddy, and she gave him like free dinner, comped his room, whatever, and said, "Keep your buddy playing," and gave him like all this free shit. Just like keep your friend, keep him like he got free drinks, like keep him drunk, keep him playing. I gave him all this free shit.
I'm like, hey,
give
you
him,
got the
give
money
him the
to,
woman
to,
too, you know.
Yeah.
It's like, yo, Sheila, you want to go home with this dude?
Yeah, you gotta keep him playing.
Yeah, keep him playing. Don't worry, we'll give you a free bonus or something. I don't know.
Yeah, but again, people willingly get themselves into that type of shit. You know, it's interesting, man. All right, moving on here. Okay, so this one's funny. Manny, you'll like this story. So Hideo Kojima puts Battle Royale games on blast, man. So during San Diego Comic-Con,
You mean the thing that I posted?
Yeah, exactly. So basically, during the New York San Diego Comic-Con, which was going on last weekend, they had a Death Stranding panel, right? And I don't know what prompted him to say this, but he said, and I'm quoting him, "The easiest way to make money is to make a game where everyone is on an island trying to shoot each other. I don't want to make that."
Well, I think he's saying all that genre. He just doesn't like it.
Yeah.
But the thing is, he is totally right about that. It's just mechanic. It's just the mechanics, and you just get people addicted to that, and that's it. There's no story that needs to be made for Overwatch or any of those games. Well, not Overwatch. I mean, for PUBG or
there's way more balance. So I will give that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They have to meticulously balance and rebalance those online games.
Exactly, but I mean the thing is, it's like those games don't need as much development time as, let's say, other ones. And I think he's saying it's like, he could do the easy answer and he could just make Hideo Kojima's Battle Royale.
That's right.
Could he though?
Probably anybody. Yeah, he could crack one of those out.
Okay,
Listen,
on.
Listen, with how many companies have been jumping on the bandwagon, you don't think Hideo Kojima could make one of those games?
I don't think Hideo Kojima can make anything but a Hideo Kojima game, and I challenge you to find a place in history to prove me wrong.
That he can't make a Hideo Kojima game?
No, that he's made anything but them. All of his games have been like, my only beef with this statement is like, bro, you're kind of a one-trick pony. Like, you may not want to make statements like that because you literally only do heavily narrative single-player games.
I don't.
You don't know what you're talking about, bro. Stay in your lane.
Well, the thing is, I think that at the same time, it's like, with it, I think he's also commenting on how everybody is essentially jumping on these bandwagons and just not doing these sorts of things, not going out there.
But he's coming from a time when everybody was jumping. When he was part of the last bandwagon, and now he's mad that everybody's jumping on a new bandwagon. Like that's fine.
Is he mad? He didn't seem mad. He just said he didn't want to make those sorts of games.
Talking shit. Like it's a little bit shit talking. And don't get me wrong. Like
it's shade. He's definitely throwing shade. You
you definitely got the right to flex. But like, you can't throw shade if you're not willing to have some shade thrown back at you. It'll be like, all right, bro, you call me and say that again when you've made a multiplayer game.
He actually has made multiple multiplayer games.
He has.
He's had bolted on multiplayer modes. Like, I don't need.
Play Peace Walker and get back to me on that.
Okay. I haven't played Peace Walker.
Peace Walker is basically Monster Hunter with Metal Gear. That's what it is. So he's done it. He's done it before. But I took the statement a little different. It's like. And this is my interpretation. I was like, yeah, dude, anybody can make these fucking battle royale games. If you want to make a real game, like you got to put some effort into it. That's how I interpret it.
And the thing is, and here's the thing, like even that is even finite. You know what I mean? Where it's like, okay, yeah, he could make this narrative-driven sort of game, and it could do nothing, or it could be the other way around, where it does something. Same thing with a lot of those 20,000 battle royale games that are coming out.
Yeah.
But it's I think it's the way that he says it, because I don't hear battle royale. I hear literally all survival MMOs put in that category.
No, I mean
that's what Ark is.
He throw people on an island and give people a gun.
Yeah, that's the battle royale game.
The battle royale game.
That's Rust. That's DayZ.
But I think he's specifically talking about battle.
I know that's what he's saying. I have a problem with the qualifications
that he made. That's why you're getting offended about this because
that's exactly why.
It sounds like something else that you enjoy playing. The thing is, there's nothing. He has nothing. Obviously, he has nothing against survival games. In fact, a lot of his games involve, light survival aspects. Metal Gear Solid 3 has the injury system where essentially you have to use a specific thing to heal yourself,
and
as well as
eat,
you got to eat, and you also have to keep an eye on your stamina. So
no. It's not the survival aspect. Okay, so here's where we're going. Like, I actually have an issue with the statement itself.
Okay.
Like, dropping a bunch of people on an island and giving them a gun and having it be fun is actually an incredibly difficult exercise. One, I would argue, is more difficult than a single-player narrative experience. When you're playing a single-player narrative experience, it's like a movie. You can just grab your audience along by a nostril and hurry them down a hallway. You don't give them a chance to look. It's like giving somebody a quick 10-cent tour of your house, right? Like, come in, hey, check this out, pop your head in the room, everything looks all nice, blah, blah, blah. Go around here, this is the bathroom, this is the bedroom, one that nice, all right, we're gonna go. Like, everything looks great when you do that. And the difference is if you let that person instead just go into your apartment or your house and just look around, they may have a different impression. They may notice that, like, all the closets are fucking tiny and or there's like a mold spot in the downstairs bathroom. Like, if you give people time, they will notice those small imperfections. And needing to have a landscape and a tier system and resources that constantly not only drive players forward, but drive players towards each other in an effort to create emergent storylines and, kind of just random encounters, like that itself is incredibly difficult. And the only issue I take with the comment, I think where all my counter shade comes from is like, man, that's a hard thing to do. There's a lot of people that do it badly. And I will point my finger at Fortnite on that one. Like, you guys barely balance your shit, and your place is small and can't affect anything. Like, this is the most limited scale of the thing that this could be. But at the same time, having those games that don't have a big storyline are incredibly hard to make and take incredibly talented teams of people to do. And that's where I'm like, I feel like your comment is wrong because you just think you're like, island.
I don't know. That's the way I see it.
But at the same time, you can have a guy release one of those island sort of games and fix it on the fly, rather than actually spending years actually fully designing everything and fully doing all that stuff. But all those games have been iterative. They just start off with a concept and then let people run around it, and then eventually they start making content. That's what killed off that other game. Right?
Yeah, but you talk about it's not like this world was lovingly crafted. That's usually my issue. That's one of the reasons I loved Breath of the Wild so much. Is the people who made Breath of the Wild understand how visual flow works. They understand how line of sight works. They understand how to build a landscape so that you want to follow it. Whereas most of these other games, they're like this. Okay, there's a whole bunch of grass and trees between here. There's not a good flow to it. It doesn't draw my eye to certain places. It doesn't naturally encourage me to seek out this small ravine or that little cave over there. They just kind of make a big world and throw a bunch of it. Just randomly scatter a bunch of shit, and it has no flow or rhyme or reason to it. And I feel like a good environmental artist is one of the most unsung heroes of the video game world.
Hey, Brett, I think you're undermining. I'm sorry. I think you're undermining your own argument right now, dude. Because you're literally saying, like, you just went from saying, oh, multiplayer games take a lot of work to saying, oh, this single player game is more thought out than a multiplayer game.
No. I'm saying that the landmass in multiplayer games is more thought out than the single player. Most single player games, the landmass is just kind of like procedurally generated the first time, then glossed over. So cool, it's a big field with a bunch of rocks in it. In a
Are you sure about
that? I completely
that's
disagree with that.
Game.
That's a multiplayer game. Multiplayer game is like, okay, proceed generated, throw a bunch of people in there. Like they're not meticulously made like a single. Like, you think Breath of the Wild was just randomly generated? No, they meticulously made that shit. And that's a single player game.
It absolutely was. But so was Conan. So was Ark. So was DayZ. The environment is meticulously manicured and landscaped, every single inch of it, to encourage players to move and act a certain way. And games like Rage, no, they did not hand place every single rock. And if they did, it was click, 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 rocks, generate some sand, here's a couple of trees, fucking boom, move on. Did Borderlands do every single fucking square inch of open territory? No, because they don't give a shit about how the land flows. That was the one thing that caught me about Breath of the Wild is the only single player game that actually does that. Even Fallout and Skyrim and none of those games do a fantastic job of world building in a way that you're climbing a vista and here's like this beautiful open site that makes you want to go over there. Conan did a really good job of that. That was one of the weird things I was stunningly impressed by Conan, because that game was janky as fuck, but whoever designed that world did an amazing job. I'm sick, and because in most single-player games, it doesn't matter. You move to the checkpoint. Are you really paying attention to your surroundings? Are you really caring?
It depends on it, though. Like a Hideo Kojima game, those are very meticulously made.
Yeah,
like,
Metal Gear 5 was pretty meticulously made. A lot of the points of interest, the way they kind of lead you down, the way that some areas there's only two specific ways of entering into a location. Yeah. I mean, the thing is, it's like I do think that yes, there are games that are procedurally generated, and it's kind of an environment for the sake of an environment. But I do think that happens a lot more in multiplayer sorts of games.
Yeah, I agree.
Are you telling me that PUBG is meticulously designed?
I can't speak for PUBG. I can tell you most
multiplayer
games, yes.
And
it's
Fortnite to the point where they have to every season they have to redesign the environment to keep it interesting, because they didn't plan it out. They put a big meteor thing in the middle of the place, like, okay, yeah, we built this thing here. They're not planning that shit. They're just dropping in a new environment in their previously made environment.
I think they're just expanding
a new environment every season.
It's not expanding. It's the same environment. They just put a new thing in it.
Wow,
it's like sticking a castle in the middle of an open field.
Okay. Hold on here though. We're not talking though about like just Fortnite versus just Kojima. You're literally picking the worst example of one type of game and one of the best examples of another type of game.
I just named the two most popular fucking games that do this shit.
Fortnite is trash!
But it's popular. It's the biggest one.
Popular fucking game out there.
Exactly.
Chris plays it 4 times a day. Please don't get on.
I can't get enough.
It's the most popular game.
Somebody give me that phone number for gambling.
That is officially the poster child for this sort of shit. Every single fucking game is trying to be fucking Fortnite.
Yep.
Yeah, and I'm not saying Fortnite is good, though.
Granted, it is not the best example, but it is the one that everybody's using and trying to fucking copy.
Yeah, I was going to bring that up
but
too. It's like you can, okay, yeah, we don't like Fortnite, but it is the biggest fucking game out there, and this is the game that everybody who's trying to make a battle royale is trying to emulate. So you kind of have to use that as an example, you know?
Yeah, but we're also a bunch of old hypocrites. How much did we play Blood Gulch?
Speak for
Really?
yourself, dog.
Yeah.
You
Baby
didn't play-
face over here, you know?
You didn't play Blood Gulch 10 million times.
What you call me?
I never even heard of that shit.
He's making up games. He's
Halo
making
one.
up games.
It's a Halo map, dude.
No, he's making that up.
The Halo 1 map, the one with the two base, like the one that you played over and
If you remember Coagulation, it's the success. It was a predecessor to Coagulation.
Oh.
Yo, I didn't play Halo. Oh
You
man.
Dude,
yeah, I did
all I'm
play
saying
Halo,
is
didn't I?
the quality of multiplayer games today, like we can talk shit, we can, but if we're all being honest, it's because we're all fucking hypocrites. I used to spend like 5 hours a day in a basement playing 6 other dudes repeatedly over on one map over and over and over again. No homo.
Yeah. Gotta edit that out.
But like, okay, so like, you know, from us, Halo, like, did anybody else here play first Halo like it was a problem? Am
Carlos
I the
did.
only one?
Yeah.
Carlos? Okay. Can you really say that Fortnite is a step back from sitting in the basement and playing Halo?
Well, just think about it like this, man. Probably old heads back in those days in 2000 or 2001, whenever it came out, were saying that Halo was a step back to whatever I mean, because that's my nostalgia, you know. So I can't really, like, I'm obviously gonna say that Fortnite is a step back.
Mm-hmm.
Then
yeah,
again,
but is that real though, or is that just like that's how I feel? But then I tell myself, like, really though, like, yeah, they're playing the same map over and over again. Motherfucker, I play the same map over and over again. And it was just 2 bases with a space between them. Like back in my day, we didn't have areas of the map. We didn't have, custom environments. All we had was 2 cement bunkers and a warhog, and we were happy with it.
Back in my day.
we
We didn't have
We
thumbsticks.
played the Halos on a LAN party.
We didn't use a controller. Where's my
We didn't get
keyboard?
to drop in. We just spawned.
So it reminds me of a kid I went to college with, and he on his computer he didn't have a mouse. He refused to use it. He was like, "I don't need a mouse." It's like,
But yeah,
all right.
I think Fortnite is definitely a step backwards.
Basura.
Yeah, it's hot garbage.
Yeah, but it is hot though. That's the thing. That's what
Yeah,
the kids are playing.
Yeah,
You know.
popular.
I mean, I feel like it's hot garbage too, but elaborate. I'm curious. Why is it hot garbage? How
Wait,
is it objectively
before-
worse than the first Halo?
Before I elaborate, do you want me? Are you on the side that it's not hot garbage, or are you just playing devil's advocate?
I personally feel like it's hot garbage, but intellectually in my brain that I know it's got all the parts that should make it better than the thing that I played. And I think the only thing making the thing that I played actually better in my eyes is probably nostalgia.
Well, it depends on what you see as progress. Like, for example, I'll compare it to Halo 2 because Halo 2 is because Halo 1 didn't really have online, only on the PC, I think. But Halo 2 had it created a lot of things. It created clans, it created parties, at least on the console side.
Did,
Creative fun.
Did it introduce matchmaking in Halo 2?
I don't know if
I think I introduced a lobby system. I think that was
That was interest lobbies.
yeah. So they had lobbies, they had matchmaking, they had chat, voice chat.
They had fun.
They had fun.
Just
They
saying.
had a whole bunch of game types. They introduced so much stuff that is commonly used in the industry. Fortnite, it's a game type. Like, so you can't even compare. Like, Halo had Big Team Battle, Capture the Flag, Slayer, Lone Wolf, or I forgot the free for all one was called. But it had
Halo it's a franchise. Can we actually say that we're going to see another Fortnite, like Fortnite
Nope,
2?
it's just going to be this one. It's just going to be this one.
It's just going to be this one. That's
Yep.
what I'm saying. So
Yeah, but when you're only comparing Halo 1 to Fortnite, why should that matter?
You got a point
Look,
there.
if you want to say, hey, Fortnite was influential in making preteens start dancing, then I'll give you a point. That's what it. That's,
Yo, man,
that's
the
what.
dab.
Look, I don't want to be the guy here that's defending Fortnite. I genuinely don't.
Nah,
But
I think you thrive on this shit. Bro.
oh yeah, man, I love Fortnite.
You're
It's
like-
my favorite. But like, man, like I remember going just a few years over like my fucking I quit phase, which was like, dude, I just got so bored of the same matchmaking on the same 4 maps on the same one mode because all 3 other modes were abandoned, and it was just straight kill everybody or team deathmatch were the only 2 modes that survived in any game.
You're talking
Like,
about Halo?
No, I'm talking about literally every single multiplayer online game.
Domination. Yeah, all that
If
shit.
it wasn't Gears of War, it was deathmatch or team deathmatch were your choices for online multiplayer. Like multiplayer for an entire fucking generation was nothing but like 4 maps of deathmatch or like 4 maps in 3 different modes, and they're like, here's your suite of fucking awesome multiplayer, and you're like, this is just a shitty bolt onto your game. Like, and when I compare that, like, okay, even Uncharted's multiplayer kind of like, which wasn't bad in my eyes, it is not the same deal as what Fortnite offers. I hate saying this, what Fortnite offers these other people that aren't me, because I'm not really, I don't get it, but I understand that, like, objectively, they have more. That's like saying, like, I used to love chocolate chip cookies. Now they make chocolate chips. Now they make double chocolate chip cookies, and they're trash. And I'm like, well, why can I say they're trash? It has more. Just because it has one level, that one level is like 8 different maps combined into one of what we were used to back in our day.
But
too much junk in the trunk is just too much junk.
we live in the Twitch and YouTube streaming generation where people like Fortnite is super popular, and it's even more amplified because it's popular, if that makes any sense. It's like word of mouth.
Spread. Yeah.
The word spreads way quicker. It's more like wildfire than it was back in the day, where it's like, yeah, Fortnite is popular. It's part of the zeitgeist, so everyone has to abide by it because everyone's streaming it, everyone's watching it. People, all the little friends are fucking.
Mm-hmm.
Not only do they talk about it in class, they see each other stream this shit. They see each other playing this shit online. They put it on their fucking.
Is that Fortnite?
It's like when we went to school back when we didn't have all this and it was just real toys, and you find out your buddy has fucking He-Man and the whole collection, and you're like, oh damn, I don't have any He-Man toys. I need some He-Man toys. And then word spreads, and next you know, you got all the kids coming in with their He-Man toys on recess, all playing. You got to write your little name underneath the foot so that way you don't lose them.
You can't avoid Fortnite. That's the thing.
Yeah, can't avoid it.
You can't avoid it. For Halo, when Halo 1 came out, there were pockets of people that didn't know what the hell Halo was. And
you couldn't afford Pokemon. You couldn't avoid Pokemon.
Pokemon, the cards, yeah.
No, I mean, I'm saying, it's a cultural event. I would agree with that. And I personally have a lot of the same problems as you, but I think that's more on streamers. Like we're essentially creating a gaming monoculture by putting this much spotlight on the streamers. We're all flooding to one game, and like any monoculture, when that thing doesn't produce, you know, that the whole system fucking wants to collapse in on itself. So no, I agree. I agree with all that, but again, I'm kind of talking about Fortnite. I'm also not talking about Fortnite. I'm just talking about the progression and direction of multiplayer games in general. While it's gotten shit in some ways, I still feel objectively that they have more than I did. So I can't really bitch that hard without feeling like an old man.
But Brett, how does Fortnite have more than you had in Halo 1 or Halo 2?
Because it's got constant players, it's got constant matches. I can jump into a match whenever I want. The map size is like 8 times the size. It includes all of the maps of Halo space-wise and then some. So I have quicker access to games, quicker access to opponents, generally tighter controllers because they've just evolved off of Halo since then. Like, what about it is less?
It doesn't have a fucking firefight. It doesn't have
Happiness.
the Forge mode.
No, it doesn't have happiness, and I agree. But why?
It doesn't
Why,
have.
Adam?
It doesn't have. Well,
Because it's not my cup of tea. It's not a cup of tea. That's it. For these kids, this is. They're enjoying it. This is their Halo.
That's exactly what I'm saying. Like,
but Brett, I'm telling you, like explicit things that it doesn't have. Like it doesn't have firefight, which is Halo's version of Horde mode. It doesn't have a campaign. It doesn't have a campaign co-op story. It doesn't have Forge mode. It doesn't have multiple modes, matchmaking modes. It doesn't have a ranking system.
Most of the multiplayer
games
that I grew up on didn't have any of that either.
Yeah, but it evolved to it. But it evolved to it. Now it devolved I don't know, revolved. What devolved into something? That's
okay,
not.
so maybe we went through a magical era of gaming or something in the middle there. I'm just kind of comparing to, like, man, when I was 16, like, my options were so much worse.
When I was 16, I was playing Halo 2.
Well, because I really have to kind of try and figure out, like, where's multiplayer going? Like, what is like? I'll derail for a second. Even more. What the fuck is multiplayer gaming, and what is it supposed to be anymore? We can't go back to just horde mode. We can't go back to just deathmatch. That shit seems so small and simple now. If you think about it in today's world, like, even if you take Fortnite off the table or not try and be a success, this type of game or a Fortnite type game, like, how do you make multiplayer branching forward? Like, you can do campaign co-op, but it seems like this seems like the next natural evolution of what you would think a lot of the multiplayer game modes would be. I also agree. I don't like it. I don't know why. I don't like it. I think maybe it's too big. Maybe there's too much space. Maybe there's too much hunting and not enough just running in there and blasting each other in the face because you know you're going to respawn. I don't know, but I feel like the magic's gone. But
it's they used a simplistic. This is the Minecraft approach. They had a simplistic idea that they got, implemented it, and it blew up. There's nothing special about this. It just like Minecraft. It was just a mod that they made, and it blew up. You know.
Okay, I see what you're saying there, and let me counter it. So Minecraft, in my opinion, was beautiful because it's simplified and streamlined and put a bunch of tools in one place that had been together and let them work in synergy, which is literally the exact reason that the iPhone took off. Like, the iPhone didn't do anything that hadn't already been done. Just made it simple and put it all in one place. So, like, that's not always a failure of an idea. Just being simple. If you put a bunch of simple ideas together and make them work in harmony, it can weirdly work.
I don't know.
I want to say, and I'm not trying to discourage you or anything like that. Like, and it's not like
no, you don't have to. I'm already discouraged, man.
Yeah, I know. Sorry. I can't go back to the game companies, but, like, I'm genuinely curious. Like, I can sit here, and that's just my personal opinion and my personal mantra is, like, look, I can bitch about it, but if I can't think of a solution, then what's the point of bitching? I'm just sitting there saying, I don't like this. So, like,
no, yeah, I agree with you because, like, we can bitch all we want, but at the end of the day, you and me are just two people. Yeah. And Fortnite has millions, so we're not part of the
Legion.
Yeah, they're. So at the end of the day, either we move on with the herd, or we deviate and die.
I'm going to the elephant graveyard. You coming with me?
Yeah, I'd rather get cremated, but that's just me.
I'm Buddhist. I'll be reborn.
All right, cool, man. See, Brett, this is why we need to have you on the show, man, because we were having some really short shows lately without you, man. I love it. All right, and the next topic, I would say last topic, but Adam says he has like 50 more things to talk about. This one's kind of funny though. So a Disney investor says that Disney should buy Activision. Basically, this is coming off the fact that Activision lost a lot of fucking money last year. So actually, whoa, hold up. Their shares. Excuse me, I'm reading these fucking numbers. Hold on. Activision Blizzard, this is from Dual Shockers, by the way. Activision Blizzard Incorporated has seen its share prices drop more than 40% in the past year. God damn. So yeah, one of Disney guys like, yo, why don't we buy him up? I'm like, yo, how much shit does Disney need to buy? Jesus, man.
You would think they would buy EA because they have their IPs. So.
Yeah. Well, my problem with this idea for an acquisition is it's all about television. Like the investor who said that they wanted this to happen, like Disney should acquire Activision, was just so they could televise esports.
Oh my God!
And I'm like, you could do that now. Why do you need to buy Activision to get Overwatch and?
They got money burning a hole in their pockets. That's why.
You're also kind of already doing that already. Don't they own ESPN?
Yes, they own ESPN.
So they already stream that shit. Or televise it.
That's why I didn't understand why this guy wanted to buy Activision.
That guy
you don't need to own it.
This guy obviously is talking out of his ass. Doesn't know a damn thing.
Yeah, it's not like they were like, "Hey, we want to get back into video games." Remember, Disney's the company that dropped their whole gaming division. They dropped Disney Infinity. They dropped the studio. They dropped all that shit. And this guy's like, "Yeah, but esports, like that's fucking stupid."
Yeah, he's like, yeah, but buzzword. Tell Grandpa to go back home and stop commenting on shit he doesn't know.
Hey. But Fleek.
Oh God. Oh man.
It's like
watch this guy be younger than you, Manny.
No, he doesn't know a damn thing, that guy. And he's commenting on shit he doesn't know anything about. He just heard the word buzzword of esports, and then all of a sudden now he's interested in Activision because they just so happen to own Overwatch. Come on.
Yeah, it was kind of ridiculous when I read the statement. I'm like, Disney already licensed out some esports stuff to stream as it is, so why would you need to buy Activision to do that? Doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Yo, I mean, obviously you shouldn't judge people on the way they look, but this dude looked like he just came out of college. Like, Jesus,
really?
man. Yeah.
Maybe he did.
He's like, I heard there's this thing called esports.
This dude looks like Clark Kent when he first left Smallville. Jesus. Oh, man.
I mean, I'm not going to judge him, but I think his motives are suspect. I mean, you would say like, hey, let's buy Activision so we can get the IPs and start making movies and animated stuff. Let's make a Warcraft universe or StarCraft or whatever. We want those IPs. We want those characters, right? That would have made sense. When he's like, oh no, we could televise the esports. It's like,
you already do that, bud.
And Chris, correct me if I'm wrong on this, but the thing I've come to learn from talking with a lot of people is a lot of investors do what they call a period of due diligence.
Hey, Brett, you're sounding really like crackly.
Am I? Hold on. There we go. Is that any better?
Yeah, that's better.
Yeah, that's better.
Okay. So investors do what they call is a period of due diligence,
Right.
which is what they generally consider between 40 and 80 hours worth of work in the subject matter that they are considering investing in. So keep in mind that a lot of these people have about 40 to 80 hours worth of actual context to compare this to. These aren't gamers. And I think that they never have been for the most part.
Right. I mean,
There's somebody who's sitting at... Go ahead.
The statement reeks of someone who's not a gamer because he's talking about television, right? He's talking about this in respect to televising esports, right? Not that he gives a shit about the titles.
Yeah, it's like his nephew Dave really loves esports, and he's sitting back one day eating his fucking Wheaties going, you know what?
That's his market research. He asked the uncle's kid, hey,
Yeah,
you play the video games. What are you playing these days?
Yeah, what's everybody getting excited about? Esports? What do you mean you're on? What do you mean you're watching video games all day? And he goes back and he's like, guys, you won't believe this. The kids today, they're just watching video games.
See, this is like the good and bad side of capitalism at the same time. I don't mind this guy has money. Make your money, man. Do whatever. But sometimes you got to be told this idea is fucking retarded. Like you got to be told like, yo, man, dude, this is a bad idea, you know. And they have so much influence over the company that Disney might consider it. You know, this guy owns like a ton of shares of Disney. And they also own a ton of shares of Activision. That's part of why they want this deal to happen, to make the Activision shares go up. Because if Disney bought Activision, their shares would shoot through the roof.
But it's weird though, just because it's an incomplete thought. If I told you, like, look, I need a grant for $100 million to advance science, and you'd be like, advance science? What the fuck do you mean? How? And I'd be like, all right, magnets. That's about the thought process that he's gone through. Like, what do you mean? Like, just trust me, bro. Magnets are science is gonna be all about magnets in the future, bro. I guarantee you, he used the word "bro" somewhere in there when pitching this. I don't know why. So this is weird, incomplete. Like, no, dude, esports. What about esports? Yeah, they're just watching kids play video games, and we can make money off of that. How? I don't know. Advertising.
You can use that with Twitch. It's like Twitch. You know, we can make money off of that, right? Really? What are they doing on there? Watching video games? We could televise that.
Do it.
Well, no, you see, but that's the problem. Like, Disney does that. The short term is a windfall for this guy. The long term is a huge loss. Like, Activision would just collapse under Disney. Like,
yeah, well, what'll happen? Same thing will happen to like what happened to all of their other video game studios. They'll realize it's not working out for them, so they'll just liquidate them and just strip all the properties from them.
Does anything else ever happen?
Anything else ever happen?
Like seriously, like we got a bunch of old heads in the room. We've been around. We've seen this cycle before. Does a large acquisition like this ever really end up a happily ever after? Because I'm really trying to think of a time that it did, and most of the time it's
most of the time, like whenever big acquisitions like that happen, it's the main company has no idea what to do with it. So what they'll do is they just close it down and then just keep all the other parts of it. You know, like that was my thought. At least what would happen with something like Lucasfilm, where essentially Disney just doesn't know what to do with it, and then just essentially just get rid of all the Lucasfilm portions of everything, and to just make Star Wars movies without them, without it being there. And that's what kind of happened with their video game division. Yeah. They had all these companies, all these studios. And they all just said, whatever. Who cares about Epic Mickey?
Oh, shit.
I don't know. I think corporate acquisitions are great. Remember what happened when EA bought BioWare? That was fantastic.
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, exactly.
No,
How
it's
about
true.
when they bought Visceral, man?
Yeah, oh my God, man. It's
I mean,
crazy.
you could finish that sentence with, remember when EA bought blank?
Yeah, pretty much.
Insert company here.
Yeah, insert dead company. BioWare, you're next. I'm just saying.
Shit, man.
Dude, they're already gone. This dead company walker.
It's like it's
a
Weekend at
zombie
Bernie's,
right
man.
now.
It's Weekend at Bernie's. They're just propping it up. Like, hey,
yo,
look,
you shoot the shit
fine,
in the head,
fine.
man. Yeah, right. Oh my God.
You guys like Dragon Age? It's great.
To be honest, I mean, I think the telltale sign of telling that a company is dying is if when it's being bought by another company, is when all the founders of the original company are gone.
Yeah.
When all those guys that made those games that you really enjoyed are gone.
So
I feel like that's the moment where it's like they're not going to make the games that you wanted.
What happened with Mass Effect?
When you said a telltale sign a company is dead, was that an intentional pun? Or
yeah,
no?
Manny, that was pretty genius, man.
Yeah, you like that, right?
I caught that.
Oh man. All right, Adam, what are some other stories we're going to talk about?
Really no stories. Just the One Up Arcade. They started doing the pre-orders for the Star Wars arcade machine, and they have a limited edition Marvel collection arcade machine cabinet that's coming out. It's $400, and this one has what's it?
Marvel superheroes.
No, for the joysticks that are from the Japanese joysticks.
What, X Arcade?
No,
Mad Cats?
the arcade itself, the stick.
the Capcom one?
Samwa.
Sanhua, right?
Samwa.
Yeah,
It's using the Samwa controls
Yeah.
with the stick and buttons, which is a big deal because that's the high end. and it has the backlit marquee, which now if you want to do it, you have to do a third party way. This is going to come standard, so it's it's a nice cabinet. It's an extra fee. It's extra $100 because it's $400 for this one. So that's something that people can get from their official website.
How come no one ever really talks about the emulation of these things?
That's a good question.
They're all running emulation. I've never seen. I mean, I see people picking them up, but
because you know what it is.
I think general audiences. I think general audiences really don't really get the input lag and all that sort of stuff because they've never have anything to compare it to.
Oh no, man, they do. That's not what they're getting it for. If you look up online, these people getting it because they're collectors. They like it. It's the nostalgia. It's the look. It's to have them all in one row. It's like, look, I have my own arcade. Do they play them all the time? Maybe not. Every once in a while they'll pop in and play a little something Final Fight or something like that. But it's just having it, and it's an arcade version. So are they great? The Atari ones for the Star Wars, they're horrible. They're all horrible, but it has that weird looking controls on it, with the Starfighter or whatever that was, the X-Wing control on that one. So people want it. I'm not interested in that one. The one I really like is the turtle one, but then now I'm still thinking about it because it's like, shit, it's got 4 controls. Like, I gotta play with my kids, but are they really gonna want to play this shit with me? Probably not.
They're like, Dad, what is this old man shit that you're doing?
Yeah, I mean, he gets. The other
you gotta
day,
play with your hands.
Exactly. I was playing that Turtles in Time with my son, and he's all about turtles. Like, yeah, turtle. He's gonna be 3, and he loves it. And he was playing a little bit, and he's like, whatever, and he put it down and walked away. I'm like, yeah, I don't know if he's gonna even bother with the other version.
He went to go play Fortnite.
I went to go play Fortnite.
My youngest nephew, that's all he fucking does. When he comes here, he picks up the Switch to play Fortnite the entire time. It's insane. Oh my god! If you look at my playtime for games, because Switch shows that, I probably put not me obviously have put more time to Fortnite than any other game. That's all he fucking does. Plays Fortnite.
Yeah, so that was a big big news, at least for that world, because we know that the Turtle one is coming later in November. And even these two, they're taking your money now, but you're not getting it anytime soon. They're looking at sometime in November. So if anybody wants it, head over to Arcade 1UP. You could pre-order now, both of them.
We're not sponsored by Arcade 1UP.
No, not yet.
The views and opinions of Adam Vale do not
represent He's the only one. I brought it up one time with my dad about it. I was just like, why does he say that? I was like, I don't know. That's what he says. Maybe he knows somebody because that's a hyphen. Then you're saying Vale. That would be with the hyphen after the A.
It's like Pitbull he says Dale. It's like Adam Vale. It's the same thing.
I don't know. And what else? And that's pretty much it. That's the only type of news that really came out that was like, oh wow, breaking news. Because there was no dates or anything.
This week was fucking dry, son.
What's news?
But
did something with PlayStation happen?
Did something with PlayStation happen? There's an update coming. There's a beta for update 7.0.
Oh yeah, the Ghost Recon. The Ghost Recon technical test. That's the new term for these things now.
Yeah, technical test.
So if you want in on that, just sign up on their Ubisoft site, and they'll send you something.
They don't call it a beta; they call it technical test.
It's a technical test.
Adam already signed up 3 times, man.
Yeah, they're saying it's just for the servers to test to see how that works out. It may crash on you, it may not. We've seen that with the Gears one where you just can't even get on the servers. But that's what this is for. So if you don't mind and you're not going to go online and bitch, they tell you have to sign a disclaimer and all. But people still bitch.
One thing that did come out recently is the SKUs for the Stadia.
There's SKUs?
There are SKUs for Stadia.
Oh, what's that?
You mean tiers? You mean
tiers? Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Is that what Greg Miller was talking about? I saw him shilling for a Stadia. He was like, "Hey, it's great, guys."
Oh, I mean, he's probably getting a little something.
Oh, you already know.
From what a lot of people are saying, they're not really too happy about this thing.
Really?
That there's different versions of it that you can get.
Well, the games are full priced. Like, why am I going to pay $60 to have? You don't own that game. It's just on their cloud. Like, so you're paying for cloud stuff, and I'm already aware of that. And also people are like, you don't really own anything. Yeah, no. You don't. You really don't have this. You don't got anything. If they shut that cloud down, that's gone. your money's gone.
Yeah, $60 or not, that shit is done, son.
Even a digital purchase on your console, that shit's still on your hard drive.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah,
Well, the way they're trying to say is like, oh, it's not like Netflix. This is like, Xbox and PS4 and
It is
their
Netflix.
online service.
Netflix
You're gonna
for
have
games.
they're always gonna have games, and the games will always be linked to your Google account no matter what.
Bullshit.
All right.
The minute they close that shit, if the shit starts going on, hitting the fan, they close it down. Where are those games going to go? Lost.
Yeah, they're not going to buy you a physical copy.
The way what this is, you're essentially just paying for a license. That's all you're doing. It's like getting a fucking getting Photoshop or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
go ahead.
I don't remember what it was, but I remember someone said something about on Twitter. Is like, yeah, wait for the Xbox to trash on the PlayStation about something. I forgot what it was, man.
Yeah. The only PlayStation news I know about is the update that's coming. They're doing a beta right now, I believe. But that's literally all I know.
Anybody know what they're doing to it?
We could look it up, man. We have the power of the internet.
Maybe they're making dynamic themes work better, so they don't crash certain people's consoles.
That would take new hardware, man.
Yeah, let me see.
Let me go look up the Xbox that I follow. So.
Yeah, Mike P, the truth. Shout out to him.
The truth.
Oh man. PS4 7.0 comes with system level HDR tuning settings for brightness and darkness. Is that the big thing now?
Yeah. So that means that they're actually putting some work into it now.
Okay, let's see. What do we have here?
Where's my Mark Cerny theme?
Yeah, right. According to users, Sony started sending out PS4 invites. Today or yesterday, I should say.
Didn't Adam get one?
He probably did, right?
Yo, Adam, check your email.
Yeah, check your box.
Oh, it's
Check
gonna
your
have
box.
it's gonna have an increased party session for you. Like, have how many people? How many people you have?
If it's more than 3, I don't want it.
Oh, yo, by the way,
Yeah.
the PSN chat, it sucks, man.
Yo, you
It's
suck.
crapping out lately.
Oh, it has been. Oh man.
Yo, I just don't like. I don't like the fucking anything about that fucking chat, man. Anything about it.
I mean, you can use the Vita to do it.
Yeah. And it's leaps and bounds better than the Nintendo Switch chat, but goddamn.
You mean a cell phone?
Yeah, it's your cell phone. That's where I got to give Xbox credit, man. Xbox's chat is way better than the PSN chat.
Okay, so it's boosting the player count or user count from 8 in a chat to 16.
16.
Okay.
All right.
Well, now that's going to be annoying.
Yeah.
It's already horrible keeping track of
You just
8
hear
fucking
noise.
people.
That's all you hear.
Sound like a lunchroom.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then, this one says performance for system updates is also being improved, meaning your PS4 won't always need to restart after every update. Going forward, select system software updates will automatically be installed after downloading it if the system software update file setting is switched on. Okay.
So it won't catch on fire if it doesn't.
I guess. And I saw something about, like we talked about, there's HDR. You could mess around with that some more.
Well, I mean, it's not like I can do that on my old school PS4.
Yeah.
Oh, good! I got HDR. Great.
All right.
I don't have an HDR
Yeah.
TV. Does that give me a new TV too?
Yeah, right. I don't know. So yeah, there you go. I guess you could make games look bad. I don't know.
I don't know, because some of those games have really bad HDR implementation. I remember
I had to
talking
turn it
about
off. Yeah, I had to turn the shit off. Some of them look great, like Uncharted 4, and other ones look horrible.
So I guess with this thing, you could adjust it or whatever. Fine tune it. I
remembered.
don't know. Oh, what is it?
Adam triggered me.
Oh.
Oh, okay.
When he said Uncharted 4, I think I saw something where someone saying that Naughty Dog employees, like specifically contractors.
Yeah, I know. Yeah,
They're doing that. Yeah, the same thing with the
the crunch time.
crunch time. Yeah. They're still getting paid. I don't want to hear.
They said 24-hour work days. I'm like, damn, is that even possible?
Well, yeah, that's literally a whole day, you know.
Yeah, it's a whole day.
Well, yeah, but like, can your body sustain you working for 24 straight hours?
Yeah, you can kind of. Speaking as a guy who has worked 24 hours.
Well, yeah, I don't know. It's. I mean,
I don't know. Do we have anything new to add to this? Because we talked about this when Rockstar got accused of it. The crunch time or whatever.
So. It's just gonna get exposed all over the place. Like it's gonna pop up. People are gonna talk about it.
Yo, man, where's Jason Schreier?
What are you gonna do?
Yeah, right. Yeah,
Well,
notice he hasn't said anything.
Here's the thing. Like, how with the demands of games getting larger and larger, where are the hours going to come from? Are they gonna? People they're always doing release dates. They're always doing all kinds of all this other stuff. People are not that understanding when their fucking game comes out a year or two late.
Hey, bitch.
Dude, you know what this reminds me of is the eternal curse of every MMO at launch and their server count. I'm not sure if anybody else really played a lot of MMOs, but
MMO?
Well, I played Star Trek Online.
I played MMOs, but I don't really play them at launch, though.
Okay. Most MMOs, when they launch, you'd have an extremely long wait time. There'd be a huge server burden. Everything would be full. Back in like classic WoW days, like you could wait 2-3 hours to get into a server to actually play the game.
Damn.
Back in my day.
So one of the problem with that was the developer had two options. They could open up a bunch of servers, or they could let people wait. If they opened up a bunch of servers, the initial kind of flood of people would die off, as it always did. Like, there was always a shit ton of people at launch, and then, half of them stayed. Sometimes a little bit less, and that was still a really healthy, fun player base. But if you opened up new servers, and all of those people left from each server, it killed the servers. And so you'd see a bunch of ghost servers, and then people trying to transfer. You never see other people in game, and the game would shrivel and die because it felt like there was no engagement. The other option was to let people wait and just let that set of original servers wait through the initial hump of players, and eventually your wait times would die down, and people would have fun with a healthy, robust game and a lot of player engagement. So it kind of seems like that problem, but with real life and employment in this situation. Like, so what is the answer to anybody who complains? Is it that you have more employees than you need for when that crunch time hits, and then you fire a bunch of people, aka when layoffs happen, or you have enough people to run your regular day-to-day operations, and then when that excess of work comes in, everybody has to buckle down and do an insane amount of work, aka crunch time? Because we complain about both. So which would you prefer a company do? Fire people or have crunch time?
Here's the thing: it's fucked up no matter what. It's damned if you do, if you're damned if you don't. Yeah, you can have a bunch of people, there to kind of fix, to essentially crunch all these bugs and then, and help make the game. But eventually, you got to let all those people go. Or yeah, exactly. Or you have a bunch of the main bunch of people, and they're in there, in the trenches, squashing bugs, helping to clean, fix up the game. It's to be honest, it comes with the demand of the industry. The more complicated games are going to get, the more detailed games are going to get, the more time people have to put in to make these things.
Mm-hmm.
And especially with the higher expectations everybody has, like, I'm not going to play this game because it's not HD. I'm not going to play this game because it's this. That all needs to come from somewhere. Or we could do the other thing is just hire somebody from fucking China to do it.
Well, and see, there's even a problem with that, because if you can't stick 9 pregnant women in a room and make a baby in a month. It doesn't. There are certain things that just don't work that way.
Wait, what?
You never heard that one, Carlos?
That's a party in the pants, man.
Yeah.
You can't stick 9 pregnant women in a room and have a baby in a month.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's referring to, like, no matter how many resources you throw at some problems, that you can't shorten their timeline.
Yeah. Carlos, watch Handmaid's Tale.
What? Oh man,
that's but that's an old ass saying though, man.
Well, you guys are old ass dudes.
Yeah, we are.
Yeah.
How you doing?
This has been the Throwdown.
Yeah. Anyway, continue, Brett.
Oh god.
But I agree with you. Yeah. you can't rush certain things, or you can't. Yeah.
Oh,
basically.
that's
It's got to
yeah,
come
yeah.
from somewhere.
Exactly.
Yeah, well, and if you bring new people on, you spend if you look at business, when there's a rule that when you bring new people on, you see a drop in productivity, not a rise in productivity, until those people are fully trained and integrated fully with the rest of your staff, and then you see productivity increase again. So it's not like they can be like, "Oh shit, it's crunch time. We need to hire 60 extra dudes."
Yeah,
because
then
that
you
shit
got
ain't gonna help.
you got to train them.
Yeah, exactly. So and if they knew like, oh, we're gonna need to hire 60 extra dudes, train them, crunch them for a month, and then fire them, that's not really a better option. It's not better for their bottom line, but I also don't know that's better for employees, the temps, anybody.
I guess unless they're contractors, because I mean, if you get them, you can't just get like salaried full-time employees out of nowhere and then just let them go in a month.
Yeah, but catching contractors up like that is just it's a huge waste. It's a
All they-
waste of resources. It's one of those situations where all the real world problems make it kind of a tough fix. Like,
I've seen it. I've seen it like where I work. There's a time where we went up significantly. I think we doubled the number of employees that we had, and it only lasted maybe a year or so, and then that shit just went down.
Mm-hmm.
It's just the nature of the beast with those types of businesses. They have a demand for bodies to do stuff. They'll get them, and if they don't need them for a long time, they'll get rid of them as soon as they can get rid of them.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's a damned if you do, damned if you don't.
Master up, puppet up, pulling the strings.
But what about all these people that are constantly like complaining about this? Is like
they don't understand that nuance.
Because
there's the same people that make all the headlines too, that write all these articles. That they never talk about that.
The thing is, because it's like they're like, oh, you're writing all these articles, but none of those guys have ever worked in an industry where you have to essentially hours make the difference. Joe Schmo fucking writer doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if it takes him like the whole month or even a week.
Here's an interesting thing I want to point out to people, and this is a really hit or miss thing, but if you have ever seen the news report on something you're knowledgeable about, you'll notice that they get about 60% right, and
Sometimes
the rest
it's
is
less than that.
And the rest is just wildly misinterpreted and off base.
It's from a lot of times especially if it's an issue, and just like this crunch thing, it's romanticized. Oh, those poor workers. What are they gonna do? They get paid this. It's like, at the same time, as fucked up as where is it gonna come from? Where? Oh, the other thing is like you either dip the quality of the actual games to give the actual team time to actually be able to do the job in a decent way, or you throw a bunch of people at it until it gets done. Hours and hours until it gets done.
Yeah,
it's a time versus space problem. Carlos would know that one. That's an old computer science thing. You can never have a complete solution, and if you have a fast solution, it's never complete. If you have a complete solution, it's not fast. It's like you can't. And Brett's right. You can't ramp up, instantly pull in talent, and try to finish a project in a time period, and then dump all those people. Like, which looks worse? That, like, massive layoffs after massive hiring, or just insane crunch with the same team, but they have their jobs.
Yeah, it's pick your poison at that point.
Yeah, the other thing is like reduce your ROI by extending your deadline how many months or years so that you don't have crunch time. Right?
Exactly. That's the thing people forget. Like, because the answer I think a lot of people are going to say is like, but Chris, we could just give them more time, and they think like, oh, okay, well, they'll just have more time, but doesn't that time cost money?
done
That
that.
time
does
does
cost
cost
money.
money. Yeah, it's
Mhm.
you burn something called soft dollars. Soft dollars is what you're paying out salaries and everything for people, and you're not gaining any money. You're not earning any revenue, so you're just burning money. So I mean, like VC funded companies, a lot of startups, whatever, go through that, and they have something called burn rate, right? Because they're not profitable, so they're just constantly burning money on salaries, health insurance, keeping the lights on, buying equipment, all that shit. So you can't have a company just say, no, you know what, guys, take as much time as you need. We want to make sure whatever. You can't because like you're gonna go out of business.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, and it's human nature too. Like, to put it a really weird metaphor, like if we all had to cook our pasta by literally burning money, we'd all be eating al dente. I guarantee it. No, ain't nobody throwing extra money on that fire when they don't need to. That's human
Mhm.
nature.
I mean, there's things they can do, but like to say like, hey, crunch is unacceptable. Everybody should have work-life balance or whatever, is not realistic for a lot of uh, uh, studios, and especially this is a problem with VFX in
Mm-hmm.
Hollywood. Those guys get worked to the bone. And remember, movies are sometimes more fickle than games. They'll have script rewrites sometimes daily, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
So you get to a
During yeah.
part, an act where the VFX studio has already done the scene, and they go, no, we completely rewrote the scene. You have 4 weeks. You got to remake this entire fucking scene, and then you end up with like the ending of Black Panther. That fight looked fucking terrible, but you know what?
Mhm.
Those guys did it in 6 weeks
Yeah.
from scratch.
So yeah, I mean it is a problem, but again, it's like, what are we gonna do? Like, I know, the reality of the situation is that it is fucked up. No matter what way you look at it, you could either be working to your fucking until your crack of dawn, and you're not seeing your fucking family, just
He-
working on this game, or
Here's my thing.
or
Yeah.
it's the other side. You work for a good 6 months and then you get let go.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
happens at
exactly.
factories all the time.
Here's one thing. I want to bring this question to you guys, because whenever this conversation comes up, like you always hear about unions. Would unions actually help this stuff? Because I don't think they really would.
Oh God, no.
Well, I mean, the thing is that like unions do have situations where there's like there's a set amount of hours, but it's also known that a lot of unions don't actually get any work done because a lot of times they're just burning time until they can go off the job.
Yeah, but the thing is, like, I'm just speaking theoretically now. Like, it's like you get a union in there, right? And then it's like, okay, workers can only work this amount of time. Won't the games come out later then?
It would
Mhm.
change the nature of things.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
would create a more antagonistic relationship between employees and employers. I'm not anti-union, but it really depends on how it's formed and what the motive here is. The real answer here, the one answer you want, the big thing on how to fix this: pay more for your video games.
Yeah.
I don't think that would even
I
do it because
wouldn't-
then
I
they would
wouldn't-
just want more money. And
Yeah,
they'll
I
just
wouldn't
keep
agree
charging. It
because
wouldn't.
like that
No,
money
I'm not
will go
just
to
saying
the top.
offer. I'm not
Yeah.
just saying offer up more money. Like, but the only way to balance this out is going to end up with us paying more money. Like, if they need to burn more time and spend
I
more money.
see, but I don't trust like guys like Bobby Kotick. He'd be like, yeah, give me more money,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
then these guys would have the same amount of crunch. It wouldn't extend it like that's the altruistic look. Like, yo, if we put more money into each individual title, then their ROI goes up. Therefore, they can take more time to develop. But that's not what would happen. More money would just flow to the top of those companies, and they'd go, "Well, we can have our cake and eat it too. These guys just keep fucking
Yeah.
working to the
How
bone.
about
I'll
Yes.
take more
Yeah.
money."
Yeah.
I'm thinking of it from the other end, like not so much like the altruistic, like, oh, if we give them more money, we'll get a better game. More of the cynical, if we're gonna get a game, it's just gonna end up costing us more money. Like, I think that I see that as the only they're gonna need to pull resources from somewhere, and so somebody's gonna have to come out with a game and be like, look, put this many man hours in, they're gonna pull a Destiny. You're gonna be like, the game though,
Yeah.
$70.
Well, I think a lot of stuff has to be fixed at the management level too. Like when we talked about this with BioWare, right? We talked about
Yeah.
this exact same thing. And what did they say? They had something called BioWare Magic, where everybody just crunches like 24/7 and the game will come together, right? But that's a horrible way to run anything. there's no project management there. It's like you just say, just work as hard as possible, and everything is gonna be all right. Everything will come together in the end. Like that's insane. Yeah, that's like going to church and praying that your game is gonna be good. Like this is ridiculous. You have to have planning, you have to have proper management, you have to have time management, people skills, whatever. But it seems like a lot of these companies, they have a lot of incompetent people in middle and upper management, and they just let things get out of hand, and they can't manage time. And then when it gets closer to deadline, then everything piles on, and they're like, "Oh shit, we haven't made a lot of progress. Everybody's got a crunch now and whatnot." So there's a systemic problem there.
Also, I love the idea that Bioware Magic is just, you know what, we'll crunch, we'll get together, and it always turns out. Because does it though?
What,
That's a who?
yeah, did that work for Anthem?
Not really.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, right. We saw. Oh man.
So
Shit
it's
is crazy.
it's like a damned if you do and you're damned if you don't situation.
Yeah, no,
So
you can't win.
can't really win it.
Yeah. As always, this situation reminds me of what every situation reminds me of. The Simpsons, right? There's this one episode where Skinner's mom went to she went grocery shopping. She bought a bunch of shit. He tells the cashier, "Listen, I want you to put all this stuff into one single bag, but I don't want it to be heavy." It's like it doesn't work like that, So yeah, you can't. There's no real winning here,
Yeah, I mean, and again, it's like I think a lot of people think that there's just some sort of magic solution.
There isn't. There really isn't.
In any industry, there's always this sort of problem where it's like there is, but then there's like, okay, the man hours of the people that need to take this stuff, to do this stuff, and I feel like it's a problem in animation. It's a problem in tech. It's a problem in a lot of the things where there's so many people that need to kind of put a lot of time into making something happen.
Yeah, and then the other thing is, I think we discussed this before, where basically these are jobs that, like, if you get fired, there's like 50 guys behind you.
There's no real job security behind the whole thing. There's a whole, the schools are churning out people who are game developers and programmers every single fucking day. In fact, there were, companies like Team Bondi were literally, getting people were just burning out, burning on entry on LA Noire. And then literally they just hire some kid out of college the next year. And they didn't even need to pay them pay them a normal rate because they were a new hire.
Entry level.
Yeah, entry level.
Yeah. No easy solution, despite what all these articles are saying. But again, these articles are constantly bitching about this stuff, but they never offer any solutions.
No, they're not. They're not there to offer any solutions. They're only there to give you the outrage. That's all they are there for.
They're getting information because somebody's bitching. Somebody's spilling it from the inside.
Somebody's bitching, and somebody's on the inside saying something. Yeah, it's happening. But at the same time, do they even have a solution? I'm sorry, like, I don't think that a union or anything is going to really help it. There's still going to fundamentally be man hours that need to be done. Doesn't matter how, doesn't matter if they have some sort of additional stuff that says they can only work X amount of hours per day. That still means that it still needs to be made up somewhere to make that game happen.
You're right about that. Yeah, whatever happens,
they just start hiring and firing people.
Yeah, exactly. So either way, you're fucked.
And then a person goes on the internet like, oh, they fired me from my job. I'm like, well, that's what happens because they just hired you there to fill the seat because at the same time, And then the other thing about these sorts of things is that a lot of these things don't cover freelance workers. So what do? You have most of the team that's on union, right? But also, studios should be allowed to also hire freelancers to do the job. So what? You can hire a bunch of freelancers that are almost exempt from all these things and work their asses off, right?
Yeah. Also, I want to point out that things, contrary to what a lot of people think, sometimes things like freelancers are people who want to be in that position. Some people, an independent contractor, is there by like, I'm an independent contractor through my business, and I love it because it affords me more power. A lot of tattoo artists are. There are some people who choose to live like that, and I know a lot of people in these kind of like corporate crunch industries that when these crunch times roll around, a lot of this shit is voluntary because they put out incentives.
Mhm.
They offer overtime. They offer double. I know people who will offer to work a 16-hour shift on Christmas because they get quadruple pay. And they're begging, like, if you let them push into a 24-hour straight shift for 5 times normal pay, because that bleeds all the way back through that entire 24 hours,
Mhm.
like, they're going to take that and they're going to work that 24-hour shift. And they'll bitch about it, but they'll bitch about it with a smile on their face. Because, like, you have no idea how much fucking money I made. Like, I know people that make, like, half a month of their normal wage in, like, a day or two around
Damn.
holiday season. Because they're willing where they're like, I'll work Christmas Eve and Christmas. I'll work Christmas Eve through Christmas. And if it's on a weekend, that's more because this stuff compounds. So you get overtime, and then you get time, which is time and a half, and then you get double if you're working overtime on a weekend, and then double that if you're working overtime in a weekend on a holiday. Like that shit gets pricey real fast, and that's the one way that a company can just throw money and resources at a problem to try and resolve it right away. Is who wants to work Christmas? So a lot of times, like it's only when they don't get the hook that they need with incentivizing people that they need to be like, all right, seriously, all hands on deck. Or shit really hits the fan, they're like, all hands on deck need to come down. But most of the time, it's not just like, okay, everybody's working 24 hours. It's they're saying, we got extra shifts for double pay. Who wants them?
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of these times, these people who don't know where their next job is coming from,
I'll take it.
Yeah.
Give me the cash.
Put the money in the bank. And like those people, and I've been that person before. I am that person sometimes. Don't really want your sympathy for working hard. I'm proud of it. And I made a lot of money from it.
Some don't.
Some. And that's what I'm saying. Like, none of this is black weather. There are definitely companies out there that are not treating their employees well and mismanaging their staff and mismanaging their timeline and overpromising their shareholders and then putting that burden on their workforce. There are incompetent, evil companies. It's not that all the time. And so you can't take, what it is almost all the time is when you read a headline about this, it's almost always sensationalized. Mm-hmm. Whether or not the initial thing is true, the only thing that you can really depend on these days is that somebody's exaggerating and sensationalizing. And you got to cut through the bullshit to decide, like, if you care enough to act like you care or have an opinion or yell or scream or let that dictate anything, then you should care enough to dig into the situation on a case-by-case basis and make an opinion based upon each individual cases. Otherwise, you don't really have that strong of an opinion.
Yeah, man, got to go on Twitter and just mouth off,
You gotta be appalled, like you know something. So.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. For like half a second, like I want to be angry about things I don't really know much about, but only for about 5 minutes and with zero effort.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
It's like I'm taking a shit right now. What am I going to be angry about? And then go back to the fucking day. Man, all right, man, we're gonna wrap this shit up. So thank you for watching and listening. Subscribe to Throwdown on SoundCloud, iTunes, and YouTube. Follow us on Twitch, Twitter, and Facebook at Throwdown Show. Links are located in the description below. Once again, our show is Tony Polanco, and I'm joined by Emilio Lopez.
See you later, guys.
Chris Seeley.
Hey, take care, everyone.
Carlos Romero.
Later, people.
Brett Murdoch.
It's been real.
And Adam Vale.
Yeah, hype for Evo.
You already know, man. Adam's winning that bitch, man.
This is it. I'm telling you, putting a bandana. I'm gonna go with my Cobra Kai outfit. What?
Yeah. Oh man. All right, guys. We'll see you on Sundays. Later.
Later, guys.
I've been playing an unhealthy amount of Street Fighter. Fuck.